Welcome to CrystHaul, the card game all about spelunking and trying to outshine your opponent. CrystHaul can be incredibly simple or incredibly complex. It all comes down to you and the combination of equipment and items that you use. Games can last 5 minutes or 5 hours. It all comes down to how well you can strategize and a tad bit of luck. To set up around a CrystHaul, firstly lay out the playmat, place both of the players' pawns onto the number 5 on each of their crystal paths. Put the deck of equipment cards, the ones with a crystal on the back, onto the star spot and place 3 cards from that deck faced up onto the designated spots next to it. Then place a deck of hand cards, the ones with a hand on the back, onto the hand spot and place one of its cards next to it face up on the spot. Now that the mat's been laid out, both players roll a dice and whoever gets highest goes first. The goal of CrystHaul is to collect 15 crystals and reach the end of your path. You can collect crystals during your turn by rolling a 6. You start off with 1 roll per turn, and once you use it, it immediately swaps to the next player's turn. During your turn, before you roll, you can buy cards for whatever the price says on the front. Cards cost crystals, so however many you spend is how far back you move on your path. If you spend 5, you move 5 places back. If you spend 2, you move 2 places back. When buying an item, you can either pick any of the face-up cards or take a chance and buy one that's face down. Though, if you pick a face-down card and find out you can't afford it, you have to put that card into the discard pile and lose 1 crystal. As we mentioned in setup, there are 2 different types of cards, equipment cards and hand cards. Equipment cards have an effect on collecting crystals and rolling the dice, such as being given an extra roll during your turn. Hand cards can either have a one-time event, such as swapping equipment with your opponent, or have a passive effect that does not directly affect dice rolls, like gaining an extra piece of equipment. As seen above the crystal path, a player can hold 3 equipment cards at one time, but only a single hand card. Hand cards that have a one-time ability must be put into the discard pile straight after being used. If at any point you want to change out one of your equipment cards or a passive hand card, they can only be discarded if they're going to be immediately replaced that same turn. And that's about it. Use your equipment, roll your dice, collect your crystals, and see who can get to the end of their path first and be announced the best spelunker in the world.